All right, my friends, thanks for joining me today. J.R. Dukes at your service. Want to welcome all my free-minded friends. Thanks for being here. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. In the lead up to the 2024 presidential election, we are definitely seeing a very familiar narrative from the mainstream media, one that downplays Donald Trump's chances while bolstering Kamala Harris's chances. But the reality is, when you dig into the numbers, they tell a completely different story. Whether you know it or not, Donald Trump, he is in a fantastic position, particularly when we look and consider the Electoral College Map. The so-called blue wall states, now we're talking Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, are not the guarantee win for Harris that the mainstream media would have you believe. In fact, I'm going to show you today that Donald Trump only needs to win one of these three states to become the next president of the United States. Contrast this with Kamala Harris. She must win all three of these states to secure the presidency. This, of course, puts Donald Trump in a very sweet spot, giving him multiple ways to secure the presidency of the United States, where Kamala Harris on the other side only has one viable path. Today, we're going to break down these battleground states. We're going to analyze past elections, and I'm going to show you why the media's narrative might be more wishful thinking than reality. Be sure to stick around, because we're going to drill down into these elections, into these numbers, and remember, these numbers do not lie. So as you can see on your screen right here, we have the Electoral College Map 2016. This is when Donald Trump first went to the White House, when he defeated Hillary Clinton for the presidency. Notice on this particular map, you had Donald Trump, who carried Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, the entire blue wall, which we just talked about, which is Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Now, when we contrast this with the 2020 election, in which former President Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden, you will see just the opposite. You'll see that Donald Trump did not carry Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, or Michigan, or Pennsylvania. I'm going to show you why Donald Trump has many paths to re-election. All right, so take a look at this particular poll. We have the 2024 election as of today. You'll see that Vice President Kamala Harris, 47.8%, Donald Trump, 46.7%, according to this particular poll. We remember back from 2016 how it definitely missed the election results in 2016. Let's be honest about it, folks. The polls do not accurately predict the election, especially when it comes to former President Donald Trump. The polls always underestimate his performance. So despite what you hear in the mainstream legacy media, when you look at the polls, these are current polls from right now, as of right now. You look at the different battleground states. You look at Arizona right here, you see Trump is up 1.5%. In some polls, I've seen him up as high as 4%. In this Georgia poll here, you see former President Donald Trump up 0.6%. In some polls, he's up much higher than that. This particular state poll says that Michigan is currently being won, as far as the polling is concerned, by Vice President Kamala Harris. Nevada's a different story. Currently, Donald Trump is ahead. This is kind of a surprise, because in 2016 and in 2020, the Democrats won the state of Nevada. What's going on here in this state is the fact that there is a large and a growing population of Latina Americans. And despite what the hopes of the Democrats were, not all the Latinas are voting on the Democratic side. A lot of these people, especially individuals from Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, they are tired of socialism. They do not want the socialistic Democratic Party. It's just not any type of Kool-Aid that they're willing to drink. Now, with North Carolina, clearly Donald Trump is up in this particular poll 3.2%. I'm going to tell you unequivocally, I don't care what they tell you in the legacy media, North Carolina is not a battleground state. It has been a solid Republican state for quite some time, and I see no reason that that's going to change. And finally, we have the great states of Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. You can see Trump is currently leading this particular poll in Pennsylvania, and Harris is barely ahead, 0.8 against Trump in the state of Wisconsin. Now, in this realclearpolling.com assessment of the 2024 general election, you'll see the different polls, and they tried to take basically what amounts to an average of the polls. But take a look at this right here. August 13th, 2020, this exact day in history, in 2020, President Biden was up 7.4% in in the battlegrounds. Obviously, he barely was able to edge out Donald Trump in some of the battleground states. When you look at the same date, August 13, 2016, against former Secretary Clinton, the polls had her projected to beat Donald Trump at 6.8% on this particular day relative to the election. And of course, Donald Trump defeated Hillary Clinton in 2016. So the bottom line is these polls cannot be trusted when they are polling former President Donald Trump. Okay, so on your screen is the meat of what I want to talk about. I'm going to show you why Donald Trump has an edge, especially in the Electoral College, despite what you might hear from all the talking heads out there. In the lighter shading color, and I have to tell you, I am colorblind, so if I don't call the colors correctly, please understand. We'll just call it this lighter shading like you see the state of Georgia in right here. Obviously, the red is for the Republicans, and this purple or blue, whatever color this is for the Democrats. Now, let's take this state by state. First of all, I want to show you what I believe are the real battleground states, not these made-up battleground states. When it comes to the state of Nevada, there is no doubt it has been a Democratic stronghold for quite some time. However, Donald Trump is clearly leading in the polls in the state of Nevada. However, the way I predict this is going to turn out, it's not going to matter. Having said that, I want to go ahead and color it for the Democrats for the purpose of my illustration today. Now, when it comes to the state of Arizona, except for 2020, the state of Arizona has voted Republican in many of the elections in the last 20 or 30 years. It almost always votes Republican. The current polling shows former President Donald Trump is ahead in the state of Arizona, and I believe he's going to easily take the state of Arizona. So we're going to go ahead and color it in as a win for the Republicans. Same thing with the state of Georgia. The state of Georgia, except for the year 2020, has always voted for the Republican candidate, except, of course, for former President Jimmy Carter back in the 70s, who obviously carried his home state of Georgia. So this should easily be another win for former President Donald Trump, and we're going to color it to reflect as much. Now, follow me here. If you look at the top of the screen here, this particular total for the Electoral College currently shows the Democrats at 232 Electoral College votes. You have the Republicans with this map at 262 Electoral College votes. It takes 270 votes in the Electoral College to claim victory for the next president of the United States. So watch this. What do we have left? What I call the real battleground states. And these states, again, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, that you see on your screen shaded lightly. Take a look at this. This is where it gets very interesting. Let's say that Donald Trump wins Pennsylvania. Boom. The 19 votes of the Electoral College would go to the Republicans, aka former President Donald Trump. 281 Electoral College votes. Boom. Donald Trump is the next president of the United States. Okay, let's say Donald Trump does not carry Pennsylvania. Let's say he carries the great state of Wisconsin with its 10 Electoral College votes. Well, what's going to happen in that case? Boom. 272 Electoral College votes for former President Donald Trump. He now has over the magic number of 270 needed. He now has 272. He wins presidency again. Now, let's take a look at the same map one last time, and let's say that former President Donald Trump does not win Pennsylvania. He does not win Wisconsin, but he does win Michigan. Boom. Another score for the Republicans, for Donald Trump. 277 Electoral College votes, greater than the 270 required. Donald Trump is again the president of the United States. Folks, this Electoral College is something we all have to pay attention to. It's very important. It's how a president is elected in the United States. And what I want you to understand and take away from this is that what I have showed you today is the likely outcome of the presidential election for this year, 2024. It doesn't matter what the day-to-day polling shows. Based on history, based on polling from the past, and even based on the current polling, this map is in all very high likelihood going to be the way that everything turns out. The only thing we don't know for sure is exactly how this blue wall is going to hold up. The takeaway is that Donald Trump only has to win one of these three states to claim the presidency, where Kamala Harris, she has to win all three. Let's take a look at that right now. We'll go ahead and color this in and pretend that it is a win for Kamala Harris. You see that? 276 over the 270 needed. That is her only path to the presidency, is she has to claim each and every one of these states in this blue wall. The state of Minnesota is not in play because it has been a Democratic stronghold for a very long time. Even the great Ronald Reagan was not able to carry Minnesota, not even for his reelection, where all the other states went for Ronald Reagan. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this gave everybody a clear illustration of what to expect from this year's election for the president that's going to happen this November. When you hear the talking heads on TV saying, hey, this election's real close, well, it is real close. But in reality, the Electoral College looks very favorable for former President Donald Trump, and now you know why. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me. I'm definitely interested in your comments. Please put them in the comments below. If you subscribe to the channel, I always get to your comments first, and I will personally respond to each and every comment and or question that you may have. My friends, if you have anybody in your family that's suffering from the dreaded disease of indoctrination and they need to be set free and be told the truth, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, do the country a favor, send this video to them so that they can understand what's going on in the world, hear the truth, and make an informed decision for themselves. I really appreciate each and every one of you taking time to hear what I have to say. I don't take it for granted, and I am humbled by your attention. I always say, my friends, keep that mind free, never give up. Until next time, I am J.R. Dukes.